Hey, God bless. So this one is on the LA teacher strike that's going on here. Yes, they are not holding fast to their agreement of federal employees to not strike. They're striking not during one of their numerous days off, but right here in the midst of the school season. And it's interesting because last week no one can really pin what they want. I know last week I heard on the radio people were like, what are they striking over? And then one mom's like, yeah, well, if it's 1 week, that's fine. If it goes into another, this is really not okay. This week, still again, Ellen K is just over the top. She's too much. And she's just, oh, these poor teachers. But even she was like, so what are you striking for? So what are you demanding? What do you need? And eventually the teacher was like, well, we want things to be fair. We want smaller classrooms, which all I could think was like, if you want smaller classrooms, then stop embracing and encouraging illegals. That would give you smaller classroom sizes. And it was interesting because on the radio you could hear all these horns honking in the background, and she's like, oh, they're honking because they all support us. I drove around this morning and I saw several schools where teachers were out striking, and they want like kudos for striking in the rain. It's like they're that dedicated and they love your students, your kids so much that they're willing to strike even when it's rainy. It's like, in LA we only get rain really in the winter for not even, it's just, oh my gosh, like really you're gonna strike during the rain season and then gripe about it and then want to be hailed heroes because you're breaking your commitment and standing in rain while you have a nice heated house to go back to. Anywho, so yeah, oh my gosh, fair. You know what, I really agree with that. I think things should be fair. That said, I mean, let's look at the school system. How fair is it? Every single person in America, citizens, are paying into this system. Even people who have no kids. Even people who have kids who are not using that service. That's really wrong. That's really unfair. How out of control are these people in education that they can get money from everybody in America and they mismanage it so bad that every few years, they gripe incessantly, but every few years they have to strike. That's not cool. And we're in this time where it's just, and that was one thing that was interesting because the one picket people I saw, they actually had, they were griping about charter schools. They want all charter schools to end. Because from what it seems like, teachers who go to charter schools actually want to pass on knowledge and encourage the students to grow instead of just be zombies. They actually appear to work instead of just be like, how many days until I get off again? Like, oh my gosh. And believe me, I have so many people in my family in education. It's only the one really irritating one was an in-law. Oh my gosh. It was just like, oh my gosh, I have X more days until this day off. And oh my gosh, she was overwhelming. Oh, it's like, dude, you're obviously in the wrong field. Maybe you need to do something else. Oh no, I have to have my summers off and I have to have my weekends off and I have to have my nights off. And it's like, and my holidays, it's like, oh my gosh, do you realize how unhappy you are? And she wasn't even she worked in the system, but wasn't a teacher. So she wasn't even have the battle cry of, I have to grade papers. Oh no, you have to grade papers. Test. You write the test one time and you use it for the rest of your career. Boo-hoo. And half of you have it automated anyways. Not a fan of public education. It's too expensive. And not only is it so highly unfair that people who are not, people who've never had kids have to pay into it, but the fact that parents who wish better for their students, better for their children, they're forced to pay the tuition at the private school and then for public school, which is, And the lies, the deception of public education. I know I was someplace and they had this big sign up at the public school of like, oh, tuition free. It's like, that's such a lie. It's not tuition free. Every single citizen in America is paying for your crap ass services and your pissy attitude. Every single person. Public education is the most expensive and poorest route you can go. Why facts are never important in this world. It's just mind-boggling. And then you have their performance. They're hideous. They get 10 years and they just, or tenure, and they zone out. And even, they're so highly combative. I mean, I'm even like, what is it? In Wyoming, not only has there been cases, it doesn't matter if you're college or K through 12, of cases where they're just so highly anti-America. Like, if you can't have Patriot Day, I mean, like, if you can't have Patriot Day in Wyoming, like, we have issues, people. Like, we've definitely taken a wrong turn and need to do a U-turn. This is really not okay. When it's seen taboo and evil to speak English and acknowledge your nation, and to be thankful for your nation and for your history and for the progress you have made. It's really issue, and it's really an issue, especially when you pair it with what they're taking out the facts and just putting in all this propaganda and absolute craziness here in SoCal. I'll see about linking it. I'll at least link the Play channel, and then you can go find it. I know Mark Dice had it. I don't know if someone else had it. But here in SoCal, they actually will bring in, and it's usually sexually abused men who go into the transgender homosexual realm. Here in SoCal, you can't, don't say Merry Christmas. Oh my gosh. I had someone go absolutely psycho on me this year for saying Merry Christmas. I was like, wow. You can't say that. That's evil to celebrate a birth of a baby. But you can take men who are rejecting their gender, who are in full drag, and some of them aren't even in drag. They're like pretending to be animals, and they actually go into school systems, into the kindergarten, and, you know, with these very young children, and have story time, and then they encourage all the kids to reject their gender. Not okay. So yeah, public education, it's now that's a shithole, man. That needs to be gutted so desperately. It really needs to be a private thing. And only people who use it should pay for it. I mean, that's across the board. If you're not using something, then you shouldn't have to pay for it. It's so unfair. Alrighty, have a great one. Bye-bye.